Alright guys, Fall here, been out of the loop for a little while because reinstalled Windows on my computer and upgraded to Windows 7. I've been on XP for ages, don't ask me why, but Flatmate finally helped me get it sorted. So yeah, but just a bit behind on the backlog of games I've been playing, and I haven't been taking a lot of pictures either, but thought I'd just have a look at this one, which was me against Chris recently at his place. Circle against Cygnar. We're playing the incursion scenario. It's eKrueger against Jeremiah Kraye. First time against Kraye, but eKrueger, potential caster for this weekend at Rally Point. We're doing a lot of practice at 50 points for this event, and eKrueger is a favourite at the moment for it. Have a look at the video description for the two army lists. I've changed around my 50 point sort of caster list. You know, generally I use the same models with eKrueger, most Cassius, guys like that, Bloodtrackers, Druids, Gorax, Stalker, a couple of Wolds, you know, stuff like that. At the moment I've dropped the Woldguardian, and I've got the Guardian there. I've got the Blackclad wayfarer instead of the Druid Overseer. But everything else generally the same. Now, we're just going to brush over our first game that we played. What actually happened is that I asked my opponent, look, with full tilt and the feat and all the stuff that Kraye can do, what's the maximum range that any of your jacks can come up with threat-wise? And he said 17. That was with the Stormclad, mind you. So I'm like, oh, fine, 17, that's huge. Okay, what can I possibly do to deal with that? And I played the game. Ended up, you know, turn 2 with Krueger 18 inches away from his jack. And he was like, oh, I'll move my other jack around and push him an inch and get 18 inches. I'm like, oh, thanks, Chris. You know, I asked you a question about the threat ranges and you give me an answer that actually is false. But whatever. The first game, bit of an anticlimax. We both agreed to just brush that one under the rug and play again. So what we're going to do is actually start the bat rep from the second game, which, you know, you guys have already seen the photos from the previous game that I outlined. But second game, here we go. It's Krueger again taking the second turn, just with a different plan this time. I'm going to send the Druids up first, create a wall of clouds, keep all of my you know, heavies and caster behind those clouds, so that if he decides to full tilt with a jack and just kill a couple of Druids, then that's fine. I can retaliate and kill that jack. Whereas the Bloodtrackers are just going to try and hang on the right flank and wait for the Stormstrider to come over, because prey is always going to go on the Stormstrider. It's a big unit that can't run away, and even though they'll give it power tokens by throwing at it, they'll do a lot of damage if they are throwing at it as the prey target. Next photo, he's got eEiryss on the right-hand flank here, and not too worried about eEiryss because I've got no upkeeps, so I can't really get rid of my upkeeps with his little shot, and with Stormwall that reduces you know, her range if she's too close to Krueger. So that's that thought there. Next image, Kraye, a lot of War Jacks in this army list. Chris, his philosophy on playing War Machine in some cases is, if you can deny your opponent the opportunity to wipe out lots of infantry with his, you know, token infantry clearing abilities and units, which he will inevitably take, then you've got a little bit of an advantage, and that's the way Chris decides to play it. Kraye does run jacks very well, so he can get away with that. Personally, I think that infantry, you know, it's just, you know, a commonly accepted thing. It's consensus that infantry are better in Mark II than jacks in War Machines, so generally, you know, you want to work infantry in there somewhere to take advantage of that. But yeah, I mean, he's still a good player, still a good list, still a lot to worry about. Next image, he's moved forward with just about everything, cracked off some random shots here and there with, I think, his defender, but he's put a cloud up there with Gorman in the middle, just generally waiting for me to move up and waiting for it to pass that crucial turn 2 when we can start scoring from the Revelation scenario. Next image, my plan in action here, moving up with the Druids. As you can see, we've got 6 clouds spread around right through the middle. Haven't even bothered with counter magic, and all of the jacks and the warcaster just hanging snugly behind that little cloud wall so they can't be shot at, and waiting for me just to move forward and get into a better sort of medium to close range position where my abilities can start to take greater effect. Spreading the Bloodtrackers out around here, just waiting for the Stormstrider to come across. I'm thinking that he might even actually run the Stormstrider over to the left-hand flank, in which case I'll just have to follow him. But either way, you know, the Bloodtrackers and Nuala worth around about 10-12 points. Can't remember quite what it is, and the Stormstrider worth 9. So I don't really mind having to follow him around. Next image, this is what he decides to do though, and this is quite a smart play. puts full tilt onto the Stormclad and runs an amazingly huge distance, like 20 inches across the battlefield. I'm like, 20 inches with a jack, that's just stupid. And then what he does is he shoots the Stormclad in the back with his own Stormstrider. So if you go to the next photo, that's what's happening here. Quite good photography, well, a good paint job on the Stormstrider, that is. And firing at the Stormclad, arcing into the Bloodtrackers and killing any that he touches. The amount that he rolled was fairly forgiving, and luckily only lost, I think, 4 Bloodtrackers in the end. Could have lost 6, so that's something at least, but still quite a bold and brazen move. But it does give me the opportunity to actually do some shenanigans here and possibly take out a Stormclad. Going to the next photo, moving everybody else up forward. He's got a new cloud here with Gorman, and moving the jacks into the centre line behind that little rocky sort of ruin in the middle of the field, just to try and prevent me from doing too many force bolts there and directly pulling his jacks towards my line where I can easily teleport over with my beasts or move around and smash them. Kraye hanging back next to the forest with 3 focus camped. Next photo, I decide indeed to do a lot of movement stuff here on the left-hand flank. I've got telekinesis, I've got some gallows, I've got some force bolts, but the end result is the Ironclad being moved far enough to the left, beyond that little wall, that I can then charge with the Stalker, with Primal, mind you, and wreck him. And just have a field day there and just knock him out. I was lucky to wreck him, though, because I didn't have the fist involved, and it was just basically 4 sword attacks straight to the head, and that luckily was enough with the dice rolls to do the job. So feeling fairly strong on the left-hand flank. The right-hand flank not so much, because he's got a lot of forces over there, and obviously that's the flag that has to be captured first for the scenario. Next image, the Bloodtrackers activate, move up, and throw all of their javelins at the Stormstrider. Unfortunately, having to pump it up to 3 power tokens at this stage, but quite happy with the damage I did. Reduced it to 4 boxes, so I was contemplating moving up with eKrueger and doing a gallows on him to just wipe him out, but I forgot about that and decided again to use my Fury just to do as much telekinesis and shenanigans as I possibly could on my own side of the field here to get rid of these 2 jacks. Going to the next photo, the Woldguardian has been teleported over the wall to then activate into the rear arc of the Stormclad, which has been turned around by telekinesis. I did heaps of damage on him, knocking him down straight away, but reducing him to about 4 boxes. No Cortex. Well, actually, no, I left him with nothing but his Cortex, and that's what happened there, so unfortunately didn't kill it. I really would have loved to kill it in that situation, because that Stormclad is a pain. Next photo, Arlan hanging out here. I can't quite remember what Arlan was up to, but yeah, he's just hanging around, maybe being a little bit of bait or something he could fire his own stuff at, or shooting his hand cannon if he has one. Can't quite remember what he was up to, but this is a battle report a week after the game was played, mind you. Next photo, the Stormstrider shooting at the Woldguardian, even in combat, pretty easy to hit, defense 9 plus the combat situation. So was actually able to do a surprising amount of damage with his boosted damage rolls. They're rolling fairly high and doing some hurt to the Woldguardian there. But generally, an overview of this battlefield, you can sort of see that things are starting to break apart for me on the left-hand flank. Next photo, the Stormclad has got 3 focus. His weapons are down, but he does wail on the Woldguardian to reduce it to very, very little damage boxes left, which is a bit of a pain as well. The defender moving up. There is a Mage Storm here in the middle of the field. eKrueger did well to reposition it earlier on with his Storm wall, but I dropped Storm wall, I believe, in my 3rd turn or 2nd turn or whatever turn we're on. Next image, the Hammersmith with full tilt on it moves all the way over here to attack the Stalker, and I left just enough of a gap between the flag and the Stalker for him to get into the situation where he could actually hammer me back and smite me into Megalith, which was annoying. I really was bummed that he was able to do that. I could have positioned the Druids differently or something, but that means that Megalith is knocked down as well and takes a damage roll. Back to the other side of the field, the Stormclad has attacked the Woldguardian, and I think he tried a few other things to try and finish it off with some shots here, maybe from Black 13th, the defender, but for some reason wasn't able to quite do it, and the Woldguardian left standing there with a couple of boxes left. Next image, Gorman Di Wulf, as the ultimate insult here, moves up next to the wall and throws a black oil cloud onto Megalith and the Gorax and gets them both. Of course, they've been knocked down because the Stalker had been slammed back into me, and the Stalker's been destroyed as well, which really hurt. So the game really falling apart here with this particular move, really trumping any last hopes I had of winning this with Attrition. So I'm going to have to try some desperate stuff from now on. Next image, time for heroics. The Blackclad wayfarer charges the Stormclad, who only has about two to four boxes left, and gets a lucky hit with his charge attack and actually wrecks him. So that was awesome. And the Woldguardian there is left with 3 fury on him. He's got only a couple of boxes left. Doesn't have a spirit. I think it might be his mind that he's lost, but at any rate, he's in a bad way. Next photo, I managed to do some telekinesis with eKrueger to turn the Hammersmith around so that he's facing Megalith. So if Megalith gets up, although he'll be Rat 4 or something stupid, he will be able to telekinesis himself next to the Stormclad and actually destroy him. Well, not destroy him, but really sort of put a lot of hurt on him. So going to the next photo, the Druids activate. One of them charges Gorman and gets a lucky attack roll with his Volge and kills him, and the other ones try to do some force bolts onto whoever they can, but not really managing it. Decided to put up counter magic just in case he managed to get something over to my side of the field with Krueger there. Next image, Megalith has a crack at the Hammersmith, gets Weight of Stone down on him, but doesn't really do enough damage to take out any arms. And the Gorax, of course, black oiled, so can't really do much there either. And the Druids at this point really not doing enough to get me back in the game. Next image, the Woldguardian has moved up as much as he can. Couldn't quite get any hurt in the defender. Can't quite remember what happened there, but the stones have moved up behind him just in case, because if the stones, if the Woldguardian is somehow alive miraculously the next turn, I can heal his aspects with the stones. But this will at least force my opponent to put a lot of attention on the Woldguardian, buying me a little bit of time on the left-hand flank. And the stupid Bloodtrackers have failed their command checks. They couldn't actually throw the last 2 javelins at the Stormstrider and kill it. That really annoyed me as well, otherwise I would have been able to kill the Stormstrider and things will be looking slightly less gloomy. So next image, this is where it gets really bad. The Hammersmith activates, slams, like combo chain slams Megalith into Krueger, knocking them both down, opening up a potential assassination run for him. Krueger's on no fury at this point. He's next to a wall, but that's about all he's got going for him. Luckily, my opponent didn't try the assassination. He's back over here with the flag, capturing it with Arlan. The Black 13th are going nuts, and the Druids knocking them out as best as possible. But what it comes down to is the final photo here, and I must say that my opponent did play better than me. He had a better understanding of the forces in the matchup in the game and the positions. But it came down to eKrueger getting telekinesis from Megalith and flying over the wall and shooting at Kraye. Kraye has one focus camped. He's in a forest, so he's effectively defense 16, armor 18. Krueger's got sustained attack. Going with a bought attack, a first attack boosted hit, and it does hit with a forgiving roll. First damage boosted does plenty of damage, above 10 on the roll, so that gives me a shot. Second damage, fairly low, 6 or 7 on 3 dice, kind of makes up for it. So my 13th, my third and final shot, boost a hit, already hits rather, so boost damage, I need a 13 on 3 dice, and that's what this game came down to. It came down to me losing, on attrition, so had to go for the caster assassination, roll all 3 dice, didn't get the 13 I needed, ironically it was a 1-1, but I conceded the game straight after that. But it was a good game. I learned a few things, I hadn't faced Kraye before, so I'll know a bit more about what to expect from him. But generally a hard-fought game, good opponent, and it still kept me confident, though, because I know that had I fixed a few little things, I could have won this. If I'd done a little bit better with the Woldguardian in combat, if I'd perhaps done a little bit better with the Bloodtrackers, positioning them, if I'd denied the Hammersmith his great chain attack slam ability, I might have done better, and that's what it came down to in the end. Would happily play this matchup again with Krueger. And check my page next week, guys. Monday night, Tuesday night, refresh it. There's going to be some battle reports, very exciting ones from the weekend. Look forward to seeing what caster I take, how I do with the flag scenarios, how I do at the tournament in general. Hopefully better than last time, but really amped for it. Been practicing a lot, so I'm promising some decent results. See you guys then.